Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I hope that you guys have a Happy New Year as well. We're at the end of 2015. I can't believe it. This is my last discussion video for 2015, and there's a lot of stuff that I have to get into gear and get started and prepare for 2016. So there will be a slight decline in frequency of uploads on this channel for a little bit after this video. That's only because I'm trying to get Trash Talk Arc 5 started on West Side Studios, and there's a lot of other shows and stuff, as we've been saying, Wes and I both have been saying for the longest time. There's shows we want to do, there are things we want to try out on our channels, so not only am I going through a shift on DestinationMarc, but Wes is going through his own shift, Gear Shift Media, you know, Caleb is going through his own shift, so there's a lot of things. I'll get into that probably in an update video for next year, but with all that out of the way, this is my first top 10, so I hope you guys are excited. Not a whole lot of super emotional feels today, not a whole lot of, you know, not too mushy-gushy feelings or anything like that. It's really just one feel, happy. We're going to have a happy time and a great time. So with that all out of the way, today I'm going to talk about my top 10 personal favorite snow levels in video games. So, with that being said, let's get started. Number 10. Already off the bat, number 10 is a little weird, but I really do like this minigame. Number 10 has to go to Ski Jump from Wii Fit. So, I'm having some little weight issues here, I'm not gonna lie. And I've been doing Wii Fit. Other guys who are muscle bound and don't really play games go to the gym. I play games, I do Wii Fit. That is my exercise. There's other things to it than that, but one of the primary exercises I do is Wii Fit. Admittedly, you know, who cares. But Ski Jump, I just like. I do it all the time, you know, in my little routine. So when I choose the kinds of mini games, I stick to a particular set of mini games, but I try to change it up every once in a while. But Ski Jump is one I always have to do just because I like it. It's simple, it's fun. It seems on the surface like it's just not a lot, it's not very eventful, you know, it's just you going down a slope, having to like squat down and then stretch yourself back up to launch your meat. There's not even any music that plays in this minigame or anything necessarily, so it seems a little boring. I could understand if it sounds a little boring to some people at first, and that's why, admittedly, this is so high on the list, because, yeah, I mean, it's just there. It's a minigame in a fitness game, so, I mean, it's not going to be any, it wouldn't be any, you know, I just said higher as in number 10. It wouldn't be any higher on the list in terms of the other numbers. You know what I mean. So, I really do like the way it just feels, though, to play it. I don't know how else to describe it, but I really do like how it feels, how it plays, and it's a very short little minigame. I'm always trying to one-up my previous score from the last time I played it, and, you know, it's just really fun. So, I got nothing really else to say about it than that, so number 10 goes to Ski Jump. It's fun. Number 9. This one's also a little unorthodox just because it's not really snowy kind of themed, but number 9 goes to Sand Mountain from SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, because admittedly it's one of the more obscure kind of areas. Like, I wouldn't really bring it up so much if I'm talking to someone about the game, because honestly I don't remember spending a whole lot of time in that area whenever I play the game. Like, in any playthrough I do of it, you know, if you have to go there, you have to collect the golden spatulas, you know, from that area. It all goes by a little fast because it's broken up into segments. I think it's one of the only regions of the game that kind of breaks up the same task into different segments. You have to go through like a first little lodge and go downhill in order to, you know, get some of Patrick's socks and get the spatulas at the end of every little cabin, what I just call them right now, lodge dealios. I mean, there's little cabins, you just walk through a door, you end up in a mountainside, and then you go down the mountain and do the task, which is basically just get to the end without dying, and then you collect the golden spatula. And it's kind of like that for all of them. And then there's this secret more, you gotta do more than that, golden spatula missions, you know. So besides that, I still found it fun though. I mean, I like the sliding controls in this game. They're kind of on par with Crash to Insanity, how you have to ride on Cortex in some of those levels. So, how it feels good for that mechanic, you know, the controls in that mechanic. In SpongeBob, it feels just like that. It feels really good in control, if not more smoother and more tight in the control department of how you turn your characters, and just the sliding in general feels good. So I said unorthodox because it's not snowy. It's called Sand Mountain, but there's snowmen there. There's, you know, or sandmen, I guess you would call them. I'm not really sure. There's ice. You slide around on ice at certain parts. So I mean, it feels very snowy-like, and it's still a really good region to be in. Even if I wouldn't personally talk about it too much. Other regions would trump it, like Goo Lagoon or Jellyfish, was it Fields or something? Other places. There's other places, downtown Bikini Bottom. But Sand Mountain is really good too, so that's why it's at number 9. Number 8. Number 8 goes to Shivering Mountains from Wario World, and kind of akin to number 9. I wouldn't really talk about it too much if I'm talking to someone about the game. While trying to describe the different regions to them and all that. But this is a snowy themed level, and I really like it. It's got a great feel to it. It's very Christmas themed, you know. So not all of the not all of the games on this list and the levels in this list have Christmas themes, but this one does, and it plays it up a lot. To where there's a bunch of igloos, but there's a bunch of like trees that look like Christmas trees with decorations on them and all that. And some of those trees you actually have to navigate in order to get certain hidden treasures and all that. So really fun. I like the anglerfish. He used to piss me off when I played it, when I would try to feed him as a kid. They were just like little enemies that hold you. Not little, but they're enemies that would hold you. I guess you would call them like halt enemies. That's a term I'm coining. So. They would halt you, you'd have to like defeat them to move on. But the boss in this area, Winter Winster. What the fuck is this kind of a boss doing in a Nintendo game? Wow. And one so closely related to Mario anyway. I mean, this is Wario World, but that's the boss. He's so freaky. He's not that hard of a boss, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. He looks intimidating with his big-ass, creepy blue face, big head, but he is not that hard to defeat. It's very easy to catch on what you have to do. So, he's still a really cool boss and a really creepily designed boss, but besides that, this Shivering Mountains, yeah. Also, I want to say that the ice physics aren't that bad. Something I've brought up dozens of times before in other videos. One of the more recent ones I brought this up in is on Trash Talk, the episode of Arc 4 where we talk about Pac-Man World 2. I'm pretty sure I said in that video, that's the video I said that, I should have prefaced this at the beginning of the video, I'm so sorry for this, but, halting everything. But, ice physics in games don't, in my opinion, usually jive with me. Like, I have not found, there are very few games I've found where the ice physics actually work. In terms of, yeah, they're supposed to be slippery, they're supposed to make you disoriented with the controls when you're on the ice and all that, but I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't, even in certain Crash games, I've been that optimistic to where even in certain Crash games I can admit, it feels weird and it's just like, go in the direction I want you to go, so not trying to go on a tangent, but the point of that story is that Wario World has some pretty okay ice physics. So, number 8. Number 7. Number 7 goes to Airship Antics from Frogger on the PS1. And like Sand Mountain, it's a little more unorthodox because it's not so much of a snow level, but the clouds are, I guess they're clouds, they're made of ice in this region. So this level though, let me just say real quick, I love this level. And I do really wish I could put this up higher on the list. If I made like a top 10 favorite Frogger levels list, this would be like probably number 2 or number 1. At least crack the top 3 for sure. Because I love this level, I love the music, I love the aesthetics, and I love the cloud region in general in this game, but they carry their classic, you know, they carry carry this cloud feeling, that's what I was trying to say, all throughout. And it's just basically you're in the day, and then you're in the afternoon, and then it's the afternoon again, and then it's night. So that whole day to night kind of cycle throughout the course of those levels is really awesome. But 2 levels repeat themselves. This one other level is really cool to play, and it relies on collecting those little time bugs and all that. But this one just comes out of nowhere with this futuristic, you know, angelic, kind of heavenly, snowy kind of feel. And I only really say snowy because there's a lot of blue, I guess, in this level in terms of palette choice and everything. But again, slippery ice-like clouds, and just the atmosphere in general feels very like, it's kind of a snowish kind of level. So, not much else to say, but watch out for those helicopters. They will slice and dice you, and oh my god, that animation of Frogger just going... It's a little too real. There's this one model sprite thing, I don't know what it is that flies out of him, but it looks like it could be his heart, his gut. Pretty graphic, no blood or anything, but it's still a little graphic. You can see parts fly out of Frogger when he gets sliced up. This game is awesome. Airship antics. Air show antics. One of the two. I think it might be air show. If I kept saying airship, I think it's air show. Let me check the list. Airship. Number 6. Number 6. Alright, we're getting into some good stuff. Frostbite Island from Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. As an extension, again, not snow-themed, but I really do like Propeller Town as well, for its feel. But we're gonna specify this more to Frostbite Island. I like the music. Like I've said before in my top 5 favorite soundtracks, Jay Kaufman did such a good job with the soundtrack, and I love the way Frostbite... as I said, actually, in that top 5 video, Jay Kaufman made it a thing to not exactly... He didn't care about so much of, like... well, not to say he didn't care, but he didn't just follow the typical... Oh, it's a woodlands area, it's gonna have to sound kind of foresty, tribal-like. You've got a temple music, well, we're gonna have much more drums. It's gonna sound like you would hear in an Indiana Jones movie or something. Or more Egyptian-like, like in Crash 3 or something. But he went all out and just made every area have its own feel in terms of the music. In Frostbite Island, that actually is the kind of exception, which I never mentioned in the top 5 video. Frostbite Island does sound more snowy-like, and it's like you're almost like in a blizzard essentially, because there's just snow going everywhere, and it's really like it kind of covers your vision up sometimes, and it's a little harder to see than it is in the other regions and all that. But I really like the way the level feels. It feels fun to, once you obtain all the pirate gear that Shantae can use. That's the one region that I found it's most fun to just zip around with the combination of like the dashing scimitar and then the cannonballs and the pirate hat, to float around and just go super speed through all the screens to get from one area to another without using the pirate flare. It feels really good. Sometimes you get things that stop you up in some of the other regions, like a bunch of enemies in I think it's Mudbog Island, and then like Tan Line Island, there's just like a bunch of upper areas. Well, not Tan Line, there's a Tan Line. The other one, I can't think of it, here it is. But yeah, with Frostbite Island, it feels so fun to just zip around. There's not a whole lot that's in your way besides those damn ghost enemies that look like Boo from Mario Brothers. Those guys I don't like, but they're a little annoying. But besides them, you got blue wolves that you have to like. They take a long time if you shoot them with the gun, with the pistol. But using your scimitar, thrust downward move, 2 hits approximately. But back to judging the level. It's a really good level, and I do enjoy it. I love the abandoned factory that you get to explore later in the game in that same region. The way that area opens up is actually pretty funny. It's done in cutscene, but it's hilarious. So yeah, Frostbite Island. I really like it. I love this game, first off. Frostbite Island, though, is really good. So yeah. Number 5. Number 5, okay, we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. Gourmand Land from Rayman Origins. I love this area. So, how do I even begin to describe this area? It feels very tropical-like, and it's funny that I say tropical because you've got like fruit cocktail kind of drinks, and it's all taking place in this kind of very Rayman 1-esque, which is what Origins, that's the feel Origins was trying to go for, was a more Rayman 1 feel. And for some reason, this particular region feels very Rayman 1-like. Desert of Didgeridoos does as well for like being a kind of throwback to Bandland, but Gourmand Land for some reason just feels exciting. I really just like the way it feels and the way it looks, because it is in fact a snowy place, and you've got a lot of, it introduces the shrinking ability, I'm pretty sure, and you've got like a bunch of ice that's always in your way, and you have to, you know, dash through them when you're small, and you get to jump on like sentient watermelon dudes, I think, at one point, and it just takes after like what you would find in like I guess a fruit cocktail kind of a drink, or like whatever kind of fruit you would have with whatever kind of drink. It's very cartoony, but it feels very good, and I like the music a lot. And again, unrelated to snow, you know, for the most part, but what I love about this region is once you get out of the snow area, you fall into a kitchen-like area where it goes from cold to hot, and you're dealing with chili peppers and like, you know, pots and kettles and all that. But the music is so just Mexican, Spanish, mariachi kind of music, and I'm Mexican, so I was just like, oh my god, this is just, how could Rayman of all things pull this off? And it just feels hilarious. It feels hilarious. I mean, take that sentence for what you will, if it makes sense or not, but it's just so, I think it resonates with me more because I'm Mexican, but it's, oh god, I don't know. I really like this area, just both hot and cold, and again, with this being a snow levels list, the cold, snowy region is just as fun to play as the kitchen region, but the kitchen region is just, it's hilarious. So that's why it's at number 5. That was so awkward. Number 4. Number 4. Okay, so I mentioned this in the top 5 soundtracks list as well. But Legend of Spyro, Dante's Freezer. Dante's Freezer and Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning. I should have said it that way. In any case, I mentioned everything I kind of had to mention in that list, but I'll go over it again. I'll retread it if you haven't watched that video. But it kind of like with Shantae, this level does not, the music and the atmosphere does not necessarily match the region you're in. And it's a snow level, but there is tension everywhere. It's just that you're always on edge, you're always like on your toes, trying to like, you can't trust anything really in this area. I just love the atmosphere. It's very dark, very like, careful, watch your step, because the music's playing right now. Just take a listen to the music. It's very creepy, foreboding. It makes you like kind of want to tiptoe everywhere instead of just full on kind of trot along, you know? So I really like this. This is my favorite region in this game. For the feel and just for how fun it is to play and navigate through. And so every playthrough I do, I just take special, you know, attention to this region because I just like the way it feels. And then with the Ice King and all, I think that's what his name is, but the Ice King and like that boss being on a big ass slab of ice, yeah, it's a little challenging. So this entire region in general, it's fun to this is where you first find out about your electric powers. It's the first, after you learn about your fire breath in the beginning of the game, this is the next breath you get, which is electricity. And just with that, I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but I really love those like weird, creepy, like, those bad enemies that screech like that. Sorry for the bad impression. There's this one area before you get to the Ice King where like a bunch of them fly in, so it's basically an ambush, but you're like by this cliff. So it's really fun when you have the electricity breath to like zap them, but if you move like with the control stick to any certain direction, they'll like fly off in that direction. Yeah, actually you have to upgrade. I think you have to upgrade your electricity breath to a certain point in order to achieve this effect. But it's hilarious when you get to do it. And you get to just launch them off the cliff with your electricity breath, and it's an easy way to like take care of all these enemies in this one particular ambush. But this level also has one of my least favorite enemies, those kinds of guardian guys. They start off with, they're tall, they have, you know, armor, and they have like, I think, a big ass like scythe or axe or something. And when you think you've killed them and their, you know, little health bars go down, they break out of their armor and they're just floating skeletal ghoul guys. They piss me off so much. But regardless, this region is still really fun to play, and it's one of the most memorable and my most favorite region in Legend of Spyro New Beginning. So that's why it's at number 4. Number 3. Alright, number 3. Fucking love number 3. Blade Mountain from Pac-Man World 2. I mentioned it on Trash Talk in that Pac-Man episode. Oh my god. Everything that can be right in a game is in this level. Fantastic ice controls, ice physics and all that. Awesome music, really great aesthetics. There's a rush when you're doing this level. It's the first kind of Blade-ish, having to skid around kind of a level. And that concept wasn't revisited in the game again until you get to this one spooky island place. So, but it's just so invigorating. I love this area, the music, just everything about it works. And it's a challenge to get all the fruit, all the pack dots and all that. But it's so satisfying to play, in my opinion. Out of all the snow regions, keep in mind, this game also has some weird ice physics in one of the other previous snow levels, where at one point you have to be on these giant slabs of ice that kind of slope downward. And now I've actually watched, some time has passed between, of course, this video and that Trash Talk episode for Mark 4 on Pac-Man World 2. In that review, I said something about, oh, the ice physics are like this. Anytime you touch the ice, Pac-Man will do this like, oh god, like tumble weird animation. And then he'll continue to run while sliding, and it's a little hard to control. But apparently, I've watched some other videos of people going through that level, you can just run. You won't do a slipping animation, but every time I play, or I would play this level, there would be this kind of weird slipping animation. You can see this slipping animation right here. It's from the little title card areas when you go through, when you start up a level. One of them has him doing that animation, so that animation would always happen whenever I do, whenever I'm on ice in the other ice levels, snow levels, and that's why I'm like, well, those aren't my favorite, you know, of this game, but Blade Mountain is, and oh my god, everything is right, from the physics and the controls to the music. I'm repeating myself at this point, but that's why I really love this ice level, and honestly, I would like to put it higher on the list in terms of the lower we're getting in the numbers, but we got 2 more, so here we go. Number 2. Number 2 goes to pretty much all of the bear levels from Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. I just love them. I love them. I love how they feel, I love how they control when you're on, when you're riding Polar. Essentially, they took 2 from one particular, because there's like Bear Down, Totally Bear, Unbearable. I think there's one more I'm forgetting at the moment, but they combined 2 mechanics from the first Crash game and fluently and effortlessly combined them in one particular level, in Unbearable, because the chase scenes for all the, I guess you could also, as an extension, but really it's just the bear levels that make number 2, but as an extension you could even include the boulder chase levels from this game as well, because they're all snow themed. So you are introduced to the boulder chase snow levels in the first warp room, and then you start, you know, riding on Polar in the bear levels, and by Unbearable they combine those 2 elements where at first you're running away, but not from a boulder, it's a freaking polar bear. A big ass, ugly looking polar bear with this still face with just this grimace, and oh my god. I wasn't scared of him as a kid, but he did freak me out because just, especially when you die and he just comes right up to the screen and because he skids to a stop and then starts laughing at you because you died. But sometimes if he's like right next to you or like he's the one who kills you, he'll slide when he skids to a stop and he'll be like right here and like and he'll just like laugh. I don't know. It was creepy for me as a kid, but. That level combines, once you get to the end of the level, you get to ride polar while running away from the big-ass polar bear. So it combines those two mechanics that appeared in the first Crash game with the Warthog and all that, and then with the other boulder levels, and it effortlessly sorry, combines them, and it's fun. So I really like these levels just for, again, kind of like Blade Mountain, how invigorating they feel and how much of a rush you get when you're, you know, navigating through everything. And then there are patches of ice at some points in the bear levels, so I don't know, it feels really good. And there's totem poles everywhere as well, and the guys lifting the steel crates, and those freaking whales that just kind of go out of the water. There's a lot, it's memorable, there's a lot there to enjoy. And I like how at the end of every level he'll buck you off because there's like a little cliff and he'll just go and then he'll just hit down and crash lands on his butt. It's funny. These levels are awesome, so that's why they're so high up on the list at number 2. And my number 1 favorite snow level is... There are many reasons to like Freeze Flame Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy. There are a lot of good things about this region, and to an extension some of the other snow-themed regions in both Galaxy 1 and 2. But what makes this number 1, what makes this my number 1, particularly, more specifically, is the Purple Coins mission in Freeze Flame from the first game. I just really, again, as I've been saying this entire time, I like the atmosphere, I like the music, and I like the fact that this one, this particular Purple Coin mission, is not timed. So it gives you time to enjoy going around trying to find these purple coins. And in general, I do like the non-timed Purple Coin missions way more than the timed ones. Because the timed ones, you're in a small area, like the fucking ass cube garden one. I don't like that one. And all the timed ones are more, you're on a smaller planet, or even if there's the one like the Luigi Purple Coins that everyone hates for being too wide open, and then with all the changing platforms, there's always these kinds of gimmicks to those ones. First, the biggest one is that it's timed, and then there are, you know, the kinds of gimmicks like a smaller planet, but there are enemies everywhere, and the purple coins are gathered kind of everywhere, but there are enemies. Or the moving platforms or changing platforms, they change their properties and all that. But with the non-timed ones, you're just going through the level, trying to gather the purple coins. It gives you time to just explore the area, probably in ways you haven't before while getting other normal stars. And Freeze Flame, for it being to match the tone of this list, with Freeze Flame, it just feels good to play, and it's one of my favorite purple coin missions, if not my most favorite in the game. And one of the other reasons why it makes number 1 on this list is because, like I've mentioned in a couple of the other ones, it has exquisite ice physics. I love the fact that they didn't just make Mario flop around helplessly on the ice, which you can do, I mean, if you so please, but you can ice skate. That's why the spinning mechanic is not, I don't call it a gimmick, I call it a really well implemented mechanic, because with the spinning and the shaking of the Wii remote, you get to ice skate, and it feels good when you're controlling Mario as he ice skates. So, you know, stay out of the freezing water, that's just pretty much a given once you see that the camera kind of distorts because you're in freezing cold water. So with that and the ice flower, and it all just feels so good. It's very memorable. The controls are on point. I just love the music, and I love exploring this one area because it just feels good to do so, and there's a bunch of levels to it, so it just makes it feel like you're exploring this giant ass structure in a way. but it feels really good, so it feels good. I feel good. I'm a dork. That's all there is to it. So number 1 goes to Freeze Flame, specifically the purple coin mission in Super Mario Galaxy. So that is my top 10 favorite snow levels in games. I hope that you enjoyed this list. If there are any games here you haven't played or haven't gotten to those points for these levels in those games, I totally recommend it. These games and these levels, very fun. So, very, very fun. This is my last discussion video, top 10, top whatever video of the year. And it might be my last video just of the year in general if it doesn't get beat out by the Crash Twin Sanity walkthrough, which at this point, admittedly, I'm not sure if it's still going or not. I hate dating the video, but there it is. So, stay tuned for an update in January. I will be talking about the future of this channel and the specific changes that we're all going through, and the specific projects I'm tackling and all that, and how you guys can help out with some of those projects as well, and some of my videos as well. So with all that being said, I think I'm done. So have a happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and a Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy Kwanzaa, and happy days, happy month, happy week. Good times are ahead. So, dork! Picture of a dork right here. Screenshot. There we go. I will see you guys later. I'm just gonna end the video. Take care.